Hey everyone, and welcome to the third episode of the Indie Game Devlog, where I go over the development of my game Orb. Now, before we start the episode, I do want to talk about a few things, mainly that I've been pretty inactive with nearly everything. I've been pretty inactive with my YouTube channel as well as my Discord server, and I am sorry for that. The reason that I've been so inactive lately is because, well, it's the end of the year, which means exams and studying. However, the exams are now over, so things should be a lot less stressful in the next few weeks, and I'll have a lot more time to work on the game as well as videos. Because I do want to actually post a lot more videos, and I do want to be a lot more active in the Discord server from now on. It's a shame that I haven't been, but I'm going to try to post more frequent updates and just be socially more active in the Discord server. So yeah, let's get into it. Now this episode is going to be all about the smaller things I want to add to the game and that were missing in the demo. The first thing being the menu/UI in the game. It was a rather simplistic dark grey design, nothing too special, although I feel like it could have been fleshed out a bit more, to be honest. The UI itself was actually inspired by a game I found on Steam called Enigma Prison. I'll leave a link in the description if you'd like to try it out. But yeah, the UI is rather similar, although I'd like to take it into a different direction. Still something quite simplistic, but with a little more polish to it. Regarding the menus themselves, there was actually a lot lacking there, or a lot missing, really. For example, just settings in general, especially when it comes down to audio, because everybody who's tested out the game has mentioned this, that there is no audio settings at all. The main reason that it wasn't actually in the demo is purely because I didn't really know how to implement it. However, now I've been doing some research on it, and yeah, I do want to add a lot more customizability when it comes down to audio, because I've noticed both in the demo as well as my previous game, the sound levels were a bit off. Turns out I'm not that great at actual sound design, but hey, now I actually have some people helping me with sound design, so I'm hoping that could be a lot better in the future. One of the other things would be checkpoints and saving within the game. In the demo, there were usually around 1 or 2 checkpoints per level, and occasionally with some of the larger levels at the end of the demo, there were 3 checkpoints. It was a functional system that was there, although it was a bit frustrating because a lot of people have said that the gaps between these checkpoints were a bit too long. So I decided to scrap the entire checkpoint system and remake it from the ground up. You might have seen the video that I made on how to make a checkpoint system. This is actually the system that I ended up implementing into the full version of the game. This one's a lot more flexible, where you can save pretty much anywhere. So there's not just going to be 1 or 2 or 3 checkpoints per level. Now there's going to be pretty much every platform or every step you take, I can save the game. And it'll be a lot easier to play the game then, because there have been some requests to make the game a bit less difficult. I wanted to make it a bit more of a thinking game rather than just a platformer. I am thinking about adding some parts where checkpoints won't be a thing, or at least won't be a thing for a bit, just to add a bit of a challenge, but I'm not fully sure on how that's going to work. This new checkpoint system in general is already 100 times better than the old system I used, because in the demo itself, instead of using a blueprint mechanic, I just used a trigger box that was bound to each level blueprint. And then within each level blueprint, I had to constantly, for every single trigger box, I had to always load in all the data and then save it again, which is so annoying, especially if I had to type in everything manually and copy paste it and do it for every single level. With this new system, I could just click and drag it in because it's a replaceable blueprint, which makes this new mechanic so much better. And to be honest, I don't know why I didn't do it like this in the first place. But either way, now it's a lot better, I think personally. I'll probably still mess around with it a bit, but for now I am quite happy with how the checkpoint system is and the saving. One of the other things that I do want to change is, well, actually something with the design of the game, or at least the levels for now. A lot of people have mentioned that the levels themselves in the game are a bit dull and lifeless, and one of the ways I think I could fix this, or at least improve this, is by adding more props within the levels themselves that give the levels a bit more of an atmosphere, or make them feel more lifelike and actually real. Now, I did watch a video talking about the cut content from Portal. I'll try and link it now if I can find it. And I remember it was mentioned in there that Portal actually tried to do the same thing in the beginning, and they wanted to add more props into their levels to make them feel more fun. However, this ended up just confusing the player, and they thought it was all interactable. So apparently it is kind of like a tricky thing to pull off, but I'm going to see if I can just add some more props, or at least add something to make the levels less repetitive and less, and feel a little more unique in each room that you go to. And one of the last things that I do want to talk about that I'm trying to fix that was an issue in the demo is, of course, bugs, glitches. Because, boy, the demo was definitely riddled with bugs. From teleportation to just general performance issues, I do want to just, make sure that there's at least minimal amount of bugs. So I'm really trying to get the core gameplay down first with the least amount of bugs possible before I move on to any of the artwork or anything else. Well, currently I'm still blocking out and designing a lot of the levels, as well as working on the story a lot. I can't talk too much on the story, but I think that I might make a separate video on it in the future. So yeah, anyways, before we end this video, I do want to talk about some other things that have happened recently, which I don't know what happened, but for some unknown reason, my sub count all of a sudden doubled. No clue what happened there, although I'm glad it did happen. So yeah, it definitely gave me a bit of a boost to make more videos, because I really do want to make more videos in the future. I also want to make different kinds of videos. I really did enjoy making the tutorial on the checkpoint system, and I do want to make some more tutorials in the future because they're fun to make, they're not too difficult, and don't take too much editing. Other than that, one more thing I do want to mention is that going forward, I'm gonna break my promise, and I'm not gonna set any deadlines for myself, because I remember in the first video that I wanted to do these monthly updates on the game's progress. Hey guys, and welcome to the first episode of my devlog. I'm planning on making monthly update videos on the game's development, but by doing that, I put a mental kind of deadline in my head for each end of the month that I had to have a video ready, and by nature I am a procrastinator. So, I wouldn't do anything the entire month except for, work on the game and do some other stuff, but by the time it was the end of the month, I thought, oh, well, now it's time to make a video. And even then, when I started making the video, I still procrastinated, so the video would end up being uploaded, 2 weeks too late? So I feel like if I actually remove mental deadlines for myself, that I might actually be more inclined to make videos, because then they'll come from, a place of passion rather than just a deadline and that I have to make them. And maybe this will result in me making more videos. I don't know. But I do want to try it out. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you want to continue seeing updates of the game, feel free to subscribe. And if you want to see more updates outside of YouTube, consider joining our Discord. See you in the next one.